My name's Julie Howell. I'm 35 at the moment. I'll become 36 over the course of this film. I have multiple sclerosis and I'd like to tell you my story. I was diagnosed with MS. 85,000 people in the UK have MS. It's a condition of the central nervous system. I was diagnosed quite young. I was 19 when I first had symptoms, and then 20 when I was finally diagnosed, which is quite young. MS is usually diagnosed between the ages of about 20 and 40, and I'll soon reach a time where I've had MS for most of my life and then the majority of my life, and it's been quite a journey. I don't really keep quiet. Well, I don't keep quiet about it at all. And for the past 12 years, I've run an internet community of people with MS called Julie's Joint. It's incredibly popular. It has tens of thousands of members, and it's changed my life beyond anything I could have imagined. Because I know a lot about MS, and because I know a lot of people with MS, the MS Society often asks me to help them out with things. Last year, they asked me if I would be involved in a fashion show at Harvey Nichols in Manchester, and it was a special fashion show in that none of the models were professional models. It was all mostly women and some men with MS, and it was an incredible experience, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but we didn't capture the emotional experience of that in any way, and it was very emotional. And now the MS Society have asked me to do something that's even more provocative and emotional, and I wanted to record it and record my feelings and share it. Something that I've come to realise through running an online community for people with MS is the great value in being able to share how you feel about living with MS. So many people from around the world who have MS have said to me that they get comfort from hearing my story and hearing the stories of other people with MS, because when you're diagnosed, you don't know what life is about anymore. You know that life is about to change, but it's not always clear how and how you should live. And you're surrounded by people, friends and family, who on the whole mean very well, but probably have quite a fixed idea of what you should now do and what your ambitions and your aspirations should be. And it really, really helps to talk to other people with MS. There's no comparison. And so this is what drives me to do the work I do with the MS Society, and also to run the online community, Julie's Joint. And I get so much out of it, and to know that my experience helps other people with MS is just wonderful. This film is specifically for people with benign multiple sclerosis, benign or relapsing remitting. Now, MS comes in 4 different versions. There's benign, which means you have a very, very long period of remission where you're not having any symptoms. Relapsing remitting, where it comes and goes. You then can have secondary progressive and primary progressive MS, which are much more severe. These films are for everybody with MS, but I am talking particularly to other women like me who have benign MS, and I'll be thinking about what that means for us, and what it's like knowing that you have MS, but living with it when it doesn't show itself every day, and how you deal with having MS when it doesn't look like you do, and living under that sort of Damocles, living in a situation where you know that MS could get worse at any time, and that although you've been well for months or years, and it has been years in my case, next week, next month, next year, that could all change. And that stuff messes with your head. And I find it very helpful to talk about it and to share those thoughts and feelings with other people with MS, and this is a way to do that. So these films are for people with MS, particularly my thought of MS, benign MS. It's also for everybody with MS. Beyond that, for the friends and family of people with MS, if you find listening to this helpful. Beyond that, of course, everybody who knows me, which is a lot of people, and will be a lot more people after this, I'm sure. I'm in the web design industry. I work for a web design company called Fortune Cookie, but I made myself famous through campaigning for a very long time on behalf of the Royal National Institute of the Blind, RNIB, for web accessibility, because I feel very strongly that disabled people have so much to gain through access to the internet. So I've done a lot of work over the years with companies and with the government, explaining that disabled people do use the internet and how, and promoting good, accessible website design. Excuse me, so that's what I do for a living. So I know a lot of people through that. And then there are my friends. Then there are people who hear me speak at conferences all the time about disability issues. And then there's the whole world. And it's not difficult to become famous through YouTube. So this is for everybody. And the reason that I've chosen YouTube as a channel is because I wanted to get across my genuine voice and my own rationale for why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I should explain what that thing is. So the MS Society are running an art exhibition in March of this year, in March of 2007, and it's an exhibition of paintings by an artist called Melissa Maylor-Yates. Is a very famous British artist, and Melissa has been commissioned to paint portraits of 3 women with MS, and I'm one of those women. And the punchline, if you like, is that Melissa paints nudes. So I am being painted without clothes. And I want to share that experience about what that was like, my relationship with my body, talk about the painting. And in these films, I'll also introduce you to some of my friends, and they'll tell you what it was like, what they think of what I've done. And you will see the image at the end. So that's my introduction. I'll speak to you next time.